I hope everything's working okay. Okay guys, this is Jackie M and I'm a Malaysian street food specialist and I'm the ambassador for the Summer Fruit Festival that's coming up over, if you live in Sydney, over in Darling Harbour. And before I continue as well, I just want to thank Lenovo for supplying me with the laptops, all the hardware for me to be able to run these broadcasts, and also to Sunbeam Appliances. Sunbeam Australia is supporting the Summer Fruit Festival, so I'm using a number of different Sunbeam appliances to prepare my food with, right? But anyway, yeah. Now, this is a purple sweet potato, and I came across this at my local greengrocer over here just down the road, and I had never been able to find it until because I used to shop at Woolworths and Coles, and they usually sell the more generic types of varieties of fruit and vegetable. Now, Kuih Keria, this is something that I grew up eating over in Malaysia and love it. One of the kuih in Malaysia means kind of like a sweet snack. It's a general term for all your snacks. It can be savory as well, in fact. But when I came to Australia, I had to learn how to make everything from scratch. And for years and years, I tried to make it using orange sweet potato, and I always found that it was too sticky. Basically, what you have to do is steam the sweet potato, mash it, and then mix it with a bit of flour, and then you mold it into donut shapes, deep fry it, and then you coat it with the crystallized sugar, right? So it's very, very nice, very, very simple. But like I said, I tried it with yellow sweet potato, orange sweet potato for the longest time. It never turned out, because it always turned out really, really sticky. So I ended up having to add more flour until it eventually became, the more flour you add to your dough mixture, the more doughy it becomes. So it just turned into like eating a regular flour donut, right? So someone suggested using purple sweet potato, and like I said, I never saw this at Woolworths or Coles, but I found it at my local greengrocer. So you may have better luck going to your local greengrocer to look for this, because they tend to have more varieties, more off the beaten path types of products. And if you don't, just ask your local greengrocer to bring them in. Okay, so these sweet potato, I hope you can see this, right? These have been steamed for about 20 minutes. And I steamed them, I cut them into chunks, and I steamed them with the skin on. And I'm just going to peel the skin off now. So I'm going to put on some glass. Like I said, if you're watching this on Facebook and you want a copy of the recipe, just post a comment, and I'll get Cyan to message you with the recipe for Kuih Keria. Okay, after this. So I'm just going to peel off the skin now. It's just easier to peel after you've steamed it rather than before. If you can see everything, so I do all my cooking and all my prep around here. I'm going to add about 80 grams of plain flour, right? Now I've done this before where I actually added baking powder to make it kind of like expand a bit, but I'm going to leave that out this time because I'm trying a different recipe. The other thing I'm going to add in is just a little bit of tapioca flour. We use tapioca flour quite a lot in our Asian cooking. But if you don't have that, you can use corn flour, cornstarch, right? So just about 20 grams, just about a tablespoon of that. And I'm going to add some salt to this. Okay, so a nice big pinch of salt. Okay, have I got this right? Okay, I'm just going to slow this down a little bit. I might just put the lid on, right? So smooth and so nice. And the next step I'm going to do, I'm going to start heating up the oil. I've just got the oil over the side over here. Okay, this looks great. Just let me open this up. Okay, now this is fantastic. Now you don't have to mash this till it's completely smooth, right? I like it like a little bit chunky, and you can see how well it's how well you can handle it. Okay. So that's using purple sweet potato. You can buy it at your local greengrocer. And usually if I were using yellow sweet potato, I would find it just so incredibly sticky. It would just be stuck all over my hands for some reason. It's just got a higher starch content and it's just really hard to manipulate. So there you go. That's what this looks like. I'm just going to put another glove on. I can hear the oil heating up quite loudly. Let's turn it down a little bit. And if you do a lot of deep frying, it's worth picking up a Sunbeam deep fryer as well. I kind of spaced off on asking them for one of those, which is why I'm just heating up some oil. I've got probably about an inch of oil in a small saucepan over there. So all I'm doing here is just kind of like molding these into donuts, right? Okay. Kind of like molded this into about 3-inch lengths and then just join the two ends together and stuck them together like that, right? That's your sweet potato shaped donuts. They're not perfect and they usually aren't. If you buy them, if you go to Malaysia, Southeast Asia and you buy them, you'll find that they're all very rustic looking because they're all molded by hand. They're not uniform, right? Okay, I'm just gonna throw some of this in the oil. Now, if you're not using a deep fryer, you just got to make sure that when you're frying these, that there's a little bit of a buffer so that the sweet potatoes don't sink to the bottom and start burning when they get in contact with the bottom of your saucepan, right? Okay. And you know they're done when they start floating to the surface, okay? So I'll just give it another minute or so. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crystallize some sugar in this. This is also my Sunbeam. It's a Dimple Tech frying pan, electric frying pan. I'm going to turn it on. And the surface area is quite large, right? All I'm going to do is throw in some sugar and a bit of water, and I'm going to heat it till it crystallizes, and I'm going to toss the cooked donuts in there. And cook the rest of them in here. This is heating up very, very nicely. And if you're using a deep fryer, like a Sunbeam deep fryer or something like that, you can control the heat quite well. But if you're just frying it in a saucepan like I'm doing, you just got to keep an eye on it and just adjust the heat as you go along. Okay, so this is heating up. Now I'm just gonna throw some sugar in there. I'm gonna throw in probably about quite a fair bit of sugar. And just a couple of tablespoons of water. Can you see how strong the heat is? Isn't that fantastic? Now, the trick to doing this, right, is to let the sugar start to crystallize before you toss in the sweet potato donuts. Okay. I'm just going to turn down the heat. You can see this. I'm going to toss in, these are my fried donuts. Okay, I'm going to toss them in there and get them to soak up the sugar as they crystallize. You see the sugar just crystallizing nicely, and I'm coating the sweet potato donuts here. And I've got a few more over here I'm going to add to this. And just coating the donuts with the sugar syrup. That's my, what we call Kuih Keria in Malaysia. Just let me get a plate and I'll dish this up. Okay, there you go. I hope you can see this. Okay, you see that? That's your Kuih Keria. Anyone wants donuts for tea or lunch today? I look forward to seeing you there, and I will see you at my next broadcast tomorrow. Thank you guys. Ciao.